On.
So, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Okay, thank you all for coming. I'm going to start my speech today with a picture. And I was like creeping around on my social media. Everybody has social media, I'm sorry, right? I mean, you can't really live without it now. And I found this picture. And it is, here, I'll show you all. It's an instrument panel on the car. And it says, when a girl finally decides to tell you what's wrong. Which is like, oh, okay. So basically, whenever a girl decides to tell you what's wrong, you just blow up and everything is wrong with you and you have so many problems. And I was like, okay, that's good. But then, I found this picture. It says, define a girl. He deserves no text back. Should I leave him on read, which is like, where somebody reads the text message, but they don't answer. And it says, no, but I want to answer. So, clearly we have a little problem here with communication. So, I thought to myself, why are we doing this to each other? You know? What is so hard about being completely open and understanding with someone of the opposite sex? And why do guys only talk to girls under their terms? Why can't we figure each other out here? And then, this is exactly what I want to talk about today. Why are men and women so extremely bad at communicating with each other? We pretend like we aren't, but we really are. Alright, so most of you know about the little relationship that I had and that ended a little bit ago. And the hardest thing for me about that was the fact that at the end he said he needed space. And I was like, I was just at college for 4 months. What more space do you need? We didn't even see each other. So this is also the learning process for me doing this research, and I learned a lot from it, so I'm hoping I can share it with you. And so I want to start here. The definition of communication from the Merriam-Webster dictionary is means of connection between people or a certain place. So in this case, we're obviously talking about people. And in this case, we're definitely talking about people who are very different, men and women. It's just completely two opposite sides of the spectrum. So there are 3 types of communication that I want to talk about: verbal, nonverbal, and something that women think that men are terrible at: listening. And so I'm going to start with verbal communication. How many of you like to talk? How many of you get in trouble for talking too much? That's about the numbers I thought. So from the time us women are young, we start talking so much. We're at our sleepovers with our girlfriends and we're gossiping. Oh my gosh, Sarah likes Tommy. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. And then eventually it leads into the whole, I need advice. Can I confide in you? Can we confide in each other? And that's basically just our nature. We love to talk. We love to interact with people. Boys, on the other hand, their focus is like straight down the narrow path. They focus on the activities that they want to do. Sports, video games. They don't really talk about the little things in between. And although these may be very different, it's really the most common thing for us to act that way. Some people may have different personalities. Some girls may not want to talk. Some guys may want to, talk their heads off. But it's really the most common way that women talk over men. And men believe talking should have a clear purpose. Women, on the other hand, we just kind of like to hear ourselves talk. We like to organize our thoughts with our words. So here's an example. A girl's riding in the car with her boyfriend. She says, I like the color blue. The guy's like, why are you saying this? For what reason are you saying this? There's no purpose. There's no reason. There's no money, sex, anything important like that. Why is she talking? So he doesn't say much. He just sits there, and his girlfriend goes on a tangent about how, why, when, where, and she likes color blue. And then the car gets silent, and she's like, okay, well, this conversation is just toast. Why aren't you talking to me? And then she gets mad, and then the car ride is terrible for the rest of the way. Does this sound familiar to anybody? It's because men don't understand women's needs for chitter-chatter, And women don't understand that men need kind of a purpose to talk. And even though we're not talking, we're still communicating, which makes it even harder. Non-verbal communication plays a huge role in everyday life. And you all know what that means, like body orientation, eye contact, even the way you're like standing in line at the grocery store says a lot about you. And it's basically just like a completely different language. You know, we speak to each other, but I mean, can you guys read each other from what you're doing every day? Just hanging out? Well, women are very, very sharp with this. Women are naturally better at interpreting body language. So I'm going to give you another example. There's a shy guy at the club with his friends. And he sees a girl over in the corner. He's like, ooh, I think I want to talk to her. But he thinks to himself, no way, she's out of my league. Meanwhile, the girl on the opposite end of the club is like, oh, he's cute. I want to talk to him. I think I'm going to go up to him and I think I'm going to make some moves. So she goes up to him and she starts talking to him, making small talk. And the guy, he's too nervous. He won't look at her in the eyes. He's kind of like, yeah, you know, I don't know. Just like being real wishy-washy with it. So she is like, okay, well, he's not interested. So I'm going to move along, go away, and leave him alone. Well then, at the end of that, who's really benefiting, you know? The girl wanted the guy, and the guy wanted the girl, but neither of them are going to have each other because they can't understand each other's language. When women don't receive eye contact from a man, they feel as if the man isn't interested, which can be misleading. And then this is the problem. The interested guy gets frustrated with the girl because he is brushing off her efforts and his body language isn't saying, hey, I like you. And so the relationship or the courtship will fail because the body language won't match up. And then lastly, a huge factor in the communication process is listening. And us ladies, we like to think that men never listen. And I mean, I can kind of see it that way, but I'm a lady, so. And the first thing we want to do when we get home is we want to tell them everything that happened about our day, what we had for lunch, what our coworker was having for lunch, and what everybody else was doing in the entire office. When the guy wants to get home, he wants to sit, and he wants to do nothing, and he wants to turn off the world for just a second, but that usually doesn't happen because the lady's always like, hey, why aren't you talking? So, men actively listen to us, but they kind of like choose what they want to hear. They filter us. And that's alright. They don't like it because it requires effort. You know, they don't like effort. I don't really like effort. Nobody really likes effort, but we're kind of different. And other reasons men don't listen are because they're preoccupied or there's too many distractions. Women are much better listeners, and this was proved by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania because our brains are more connected between the hemispheres, which I think is pretty cool. So, quote by Tony Gaskins, who's a life coach. He says, communication in a relationship is like oxygen to life. Oxygen to life. Without it, it dies. And I think that's really important because you can't not communicate with your significant other, and that's just terrible. You know, you can't have that. You want to come home every day, you want to tell them about what happened, but they're like, I don't really want to talk to you, so we're not going to talk. And then it creates this whole feud. And I believe that both sexes need to understand that communication is a vital force in a relationship. You know, women want to talk, but maybe we should be more silent sometimes. And men, maybe we should like kind of just give us a little something every now and then. We both need to ease up on our harsh judgments of one another when it comes to stuff like that. So if, for example, you know, if you go up to a guy and he's kind of like, I don't know about you, maybe it's because he is shy, maybe it's because he is nervous, maybe we should give him a chance. And instead of drawing quick conclusions, we should just brush things off and lighten up a little bit. We need to spend more time listening to each other, and we need to give each other space when it's needed. And I think that'll do wonders for your relationships. I believe that because you'll finally make a real connection when you get to actually talk to somebody and when you get to understand them more. So I think we should all do ourselves a favor and take each other into consideration and talk, listen, and learn about each other. Besides, nobody likes to see the check engine light come on in their car. Nobody likes that. And nobody wants to see their car blow up.